And now a message from our friends at Fetching Food.
The 1970s and 80s had Elbow, Gravy Train, Purina, Meow Mix, and Bell Bottoms. You've changed your clothes, now change how you feed your pet. Like Bell Bottoms, kick the kibble and join us in the 21st century with the healthiest diet for dogs and cats. Feed naturally, feed raw, feed Fetching Foods.
Brennan, you're 39 years old. I would not expect you to call him Dad.
Well, I'm not going to, ever. Even if there's a fire.
Hello, pups and kittens, and welcome to another fun-filled and informative episode of the Groomer Next Door podcast. I'm your host, Chris Green, and joining us this week, the creator and founder of this amazing app, we have David Adams, who created SNIFFSPOT. He's going to tell us all about it in just a minute. But before that, I just kind of want to do a little bit of a behind the scenes. So, some of you have noticed that there is another show attached to the podcast. Well, this past Friday, which I'm recording on a Saturday, so yesterday, I did the very first episode of our new radio show. Yes, radio. Shocking as it is. A podcast that has now turned into a radio show. I know, it's bizarre. Debuted yesterday. And it debuted yesterday at 9:05 to 9:30. And it's every Friday right here in Rolla at 99.7 KTTR. Now, the good thing is you can stream this anywhere in the world as long as you get the time right. So, a little behind the scenes behind all this. It started about 6 months ago, and I pitched this idea to the local radio station because I like them the most. And we have multiple choices, but I really like this station. And I really believe in the people that work there. We're all from the same area. So it has a little bit of that home feel. And it kind of went on the back burner for a while there. And then I'm told, okay, come in tomorrow and we'll discuss it. Well, it was ironic because the day I went in was my birthday. And I'm not one of those people that go, "Ooh, my birthday, look at me, look at me." But it really was kind of a weird, awesome feeling at the same time. So I was told, okay, well, we are going to go through with this. But before we do, we need you to write up a synopsis on how it works. That means tell us how it's going to run from the moment we launch at 9:05 to 9:30. How are you going to format it? What are the guests going to be like? What's the name going to be? And to my surprise, I was told, and you're the host. Now, one of the things that had always been in this discussion was I wanted to do this with Lee Burr, who is my co-host. And the reason why I wanted to do it with Lee is he's got so much experience and I can learn from him. Meaning I can become a better radio host and podcaster at the same time. So it's better for everybody. And that's a great opportunity for all of us. So I spent my birthday writing this synopsis. And I think it was 800 or 900 words later, which was, I think, a total of like 3 pages, which I'm pretty sure they were not expecting that much content. Probably something written on paper. That was 3 lines would have been probably sufficient, but I'm meticulous. So now we're off and running. I'm told, okay, well, we're going to debut it next week. You're going to go on another radio show here that's going to pretty much promote it, I guess you would say, and it would be the show that's on before ours, and you're going to talk about it, and then that following Friday, you're going to go live and have that inaugural episode. Well, you've all been able to hear all of it because it's on our page right here, so you can go back and archive and see it, and or listen to it, I guess would be probably the better way to put it. And, well, we debuted with Officer Steve Gray. And there was a little bit of reasons why I went with Steve. For one, I've known him for the duration of this podcast. He was one of my very first guests on the show. We did it I would like to say in studio, but we're a podcast. We actually recorded that episode right there in the Rolla Police Department. And everything we talked about in the actual radio interview really falls back to that day. So I wanted to make sure my first episode was synonymous with the podcast, because again, the radio show is been created because of this very moment. This very show is what this now radio show has been. And one of the other parts that was a challenge was really honestly, of everything that I had to do to make this work, the hardest part was finding a name. I wanted to make sure that the actual name was something that would tie into both cats and dogs. So that's why I went with Flea Circus. Both cats and dogs get fleas unless they're treated, but let's just go without treatment, they will get fleas, especially when they go outside. Dog goes outside, goes to the bathroom, comes back in. If it's not treated, well, guess what's bringing with it? So, obvious. And another word for morning radio shows is a circus or a zoo. Morning zoo, morning circus. So I felt that the two really lent to each other and was able to marry into a great name for a radio show. So then we debuted. Now, of course, I'm not going to go over everything that happened in the radio part because you can listen to it and it's all very self-explanatory. And I honestly have to say, it is an honor, it's a privilege, and I am very grateful to have had this opportunity to have this weekly show and this weekly podcast. It is absolutely the greatest thing I've ever been able to do outside of having my daughter. These are the two things that I honestly can say I'm the most proud of. So I hope all of you have had a chance to listen to the radio show. It does air every Friday live, just like every radio show. We don't pre-record it. We record live every Friday at 9:05, then that's Central Standard Time, and we conclude at 9:30. I will always put up a link so you can stream it, because not everybody's going to get 99.7 KTTR from all over the world, but you can actually stream it from any one of your devices. And I will always post it on Facebook that we're about to go live. I would absolutely be honored, privileged. I can't even tell you how happy I would be to know that people from all over the world were listening to this, because honestly, this radio show is for all of you. Just like this podcast was made for all of you, the radio show is the same thing. And that's how I will always treat it. So enough me babbling and telling you all about the behind the scenes stuff that has been going on. And by that sound, David is about to enter, so I'll stop talking and let him tell his great story. So with that said, welcome David Adams to the podcast.
Oh, hello. Hold on a sec. Dad, we have a guest on the podcast.
All right, this week on the podcast, I'm really very, very happy. I have David Adams here. He has this really cool app, and I'm dying to find out more about it and share this with you all. He has SNIFFSPOT. We are going to go into all this, including the name and more. Thank you for being on the podcast. It's absolutely a pleasure to be able to talk to a great mind.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoy when it comes to the tech side of our furry friends. It is so difficult nowadays to really find the greatest apps out there because, like I was telling you before, you're buried in them. And so to find something that's unique and outside the box and so amazing was shocking. I couldn't believe it eluded me this long. So tell us the origin story, because that is my favorite question to always ask, of how SNIFFSPOT started.
Yeah, so SNIFFSPOT, think of us like Airbnb for off-leash dog areas. So the idea is that, like Airbnb, people have extra space, except in this case, the extra space is yards or land. So with SNIFFSPOT, anyone can make money from their yards or land. So it's a great way to help dogs and make money. The way you're making money is by renting your yard or your land out to dog owners that are looking for hourly rentals. So think of SNIFFSPOT like an alternative to a dog park, where instead of going to a public area, you can go to a private area that's safe and contained for training with your dog. So that's the idea of what the company is. We operate through a website and we operate through an app, so you can check us out online. And in terms of the origin story, we really got started about a year and a half ago. And it started from my own problem. So my partner and I have 2 dogs. Both are rescues. One dog is reactive, meaning that he doesn't get along well with other dogs. So for him, going to the dog park is out of the question. And my partner traveled a fair amount. So for her, getting exercise for her dog, or even letting her dog go to the bathroom, was a huge hassle. And for me, with Soba, our other dog, I would take her to dog parks quite frequently. And every time I went, it felt like I was having a bad experience. So we were both looking for better options out there. We live in Seattle. We're looking around and we see all these empty yards and open land, and we said, why can't we do what Airbnb did for extra bedrooms with land? So I posted about it on Facebook, and just a random post that I made, and over 1,000 people interacted with it. So people really wanted this thing. So I put up a little website, and people started using it, and it just kept growing and growing from there.
That is amazing. And you didn't get any kind of, that's kind of a weird idea. How is it that that'll work? See, you had the support of it. That's pretty cool.
Well, people have different opinions. So no matter what you do, you're always going to come across with some naysayers.
Yeah, but I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of difficult, and I have yet to actually make it up to the Seattle area. But I do know the Southern California area. I do know a lot of big cities. It's very hard to find a good place to take your dog, and a trustworthy, and again, socially awkward dogs, because I'm a socially awkward human, we really don't always mesh well in large groups. So I totally understand this. And, yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that, because it just reminded me that a lot of our users, these dog parents, they actually also get a lot of personal enjoyment out of SNIFFSPOT, because similarly to having a socially awkward dog, a lot of people, and also myself included, don't love going out where there are huge crowds. A crowded park is not my cup of tea. But with SNIFFSPOT, you can basically have your own backyard. Bring your dog, let him hang out. You can hang out. Like, I've gone there with my partner. We brought wine. We brought blankets. We brought books. People bring yoga mats. There's all kinds of fun things you can do in a SNIFFSPOT, not just your dog.
Interesting. So it's a all-in-one type of event, which obviously is...
It certainly can be. Certainly can be.
Cool. Now, all right, let's go into the development side, since we're still in the origin side. So developing this idea. Now, of course, coming up with the idea, that was, off of, a need, which is the greatest of all. So then it comes to developing an app would be the next stage, or was it finding locations?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So basically, for us, putting up a simple website was really easy. These days, you can just go on the internet, and there are all kinds of services out there that will enable you to make a website with, very little work. So it really took me just a couple of hours to set up a basic functioning website. And from there, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was about finding the location. So spreading the word around Seattle, making sure people were aware of this opportunity to help dogs and make money, people with their yards. And then following that, when we started to have a critical mass of yards, then it was starting to get more important for us to focus on the development side. So now the majority of our investment is on the development side. However, I will say, and for anyone that's that's out there with a great yard or some land, our number one thing we need right now is more sniff spots. And not just in the Seattle area, but across the country. So in the U.S., we also have sniff spots abroad. So the number one thing we need is more sniff spots. And like I said, it's a really great way to help dogs. Like, dogs need this. And it's also a great way to make money. We have some hosts that are earning more than $1,000 a month of completely passive income. So there's really a lot of benefit to being a sniff spot host.
And that was going to be a question I'm going to table that one for a little bookmark in that, because that was definitely where I was going to go, because that's kind of the real smart move right there. So that's why I was like, we'll table that one for a little bit. So now I've talked to a lot of people over the years that have developed apps, and they all say the same thing. It's the coding is just a pain in the backside. And of course, once you get into the Apple type, it's even worse. Did you run into those problems as well?
Well, so the way that I did it is I hired an engineering firm. So this engineering firm is based abroad in a low-cost location. So I was able to hire an engineer and have them work on building this. So I didn't have to go in and do the coding myself.
Smart.
And it was quite inexpensive. Now, what I focused on was the product design, so making sure that what we're building is the right thing. Interestingly, we had, SNIFFSPOT, it's not like a new technology. It's not like we're innovating on, fundamental artificial intelligence or something. It's more about how you design it to work well for people. So for us, I'd say both are challenges. Certainly the coding part and also the design part.
Gotcha. Now, out of curiosity, because these are little things that I always find to be very interesting, on a logo, how hard was it? And I know this is probably the most ridiculous question you've probably been asked, but how hard was it to nail down a logo?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, I guess I'd say it's a never-ending journey. You're never done with your logo. How we did, the first version, which is what you see right now on the website, was, started by looking on Pinterest and creating a Pinterest board of different logos and different pieces of art and images that we thought would be a good, could make a good logo or could be good inspiration for a logo. And then from there, we kind of picked our favorite. We had a designer kind of go through and do some drafts of it. And that's how we came up with our logo. And then from there, we've made a couple adjustments to it. And we're going to continue to make adjustments.
It's like you say, it's a never-ending story. You see one thing, and you're like, oh, if I change that from black to green, or vice versa. The simplest little things that most people wouldn't even notice, but you're like, ooh. Or you'll be awake at night going, I could do something else with it. I get that.
Yeah, exactly. It's something you never stop thinking about.
It is. All right, so now you have been able to come up with a great idea. And you've been able to develop the apps, you have the website, and it is funny, as you say, developing a website nowadays is so much easier. Be surprised, I've talked to people who actually developed websites in the early 2000s, which sounds like I'm talking prehistoric time, even though it wasn't that long ago. And they're like, oh, it was terrible back then, now it's templates and everything. So all this is done, you got the logo, you got everything going. Now, how do you determine how much to charge the user? And how do you decide how much to charge the person who's actually providing the land?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and there's really more art to that. So the first thing I'd say is that we start by saying, what are other people doing? So we can look at Airbnb, we can look at Rover, we can look at HitCamp or Turo, and there's a million other companies that are doing similar things. And then, we can kind of look at what they're doing and see how we're different and make adjustments from there. Secondly, and most importantly, is just, getting feedback from customers. And that means, we would start by asking what they think, but often customers are, they don't really know exactly how they'll actually react to something. So that's pretty directional. But then putting something out there and seeing how people actually react to it, and then being willing to iterate on it. So that's basically the process that we use to build this thing up.
Which, and honestly, and I'm going to be completely honest, and everybody can pretty much attack me for it, I've never heard of anything like this before. So that's what really caught me. I was like, the first time I ever heard of an Uber, I was like, wait, what? So when I first saw you guys, I was like, wait, nobody's thought of this. This is brilliant. But then I'm thinking to myself, the development side would be absolutely difficult because you're going to have to find out, well, you got to find locations, you got to find people who are willing to give up their property to do this. And then you have to find how much to charge and how much to pay. I mean, it must have kept you up for days, if not months.
Yeah, well, it's definitely, it's definitely challenging, and I'd say, my only thing I would say is, like, if anyone out there is trying to start a company or do something, you're gonna do it wrong more often than you do it right. So the most important thing you can do is not get discouraged when things go wrong, and just try it again, and make sure that you're setting yourself up so you can make a lot of changes really quickly, because it's basically impossible for you to know in advance what's actually going to work and what's not going to work.
And with something like this, I would think that more than not, this would be even more, because it's really unterritorized area. I mean, nobody has gone here. This is uncharted territory. And that's really got to be the interesting part. It's not like you go, oh, well, let's look at, doggy grass. Using just fake things here, but, we'll use them as an example. Well, there was no such thing. So you're kind of writing the book on something that, honestly, makes all the sense in the world, because people have the open property, open land, or even just their backyard, and they can make money off of it. It's a win-win. It's like putting decals on your car that advertise another company. It's a win-win. Everybody's winning off of this, and people are getting paid. So it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pretty beautiful thing, because there's really not many other places where you can make money without doing any work. And with this, it's not like driving for Uber or DoorDash or, renting out your place in Airbnb. You can just set up your yard and you can be making money without doing any work.
Just mow the lawn, which is what we already do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, now, down to cleanup. Who's responsible for the cleanup?
So the guest is responsible for leaving the yard in as good a shape as when they started using it. So if your dog makes a mess, you got to clean it up. And if guests, if a guest, for instance, maybe they have an accident and they break something, like they break a chair or something else, then SNIFFSPOT actually provides damage protection for our SNIFFSPOTs, where we'll cover any damage to your yard up to $5,000.
Nice.
So anything that happens, you'll be covered.
That is really cool. And you know what? It was just one of those things. I was like, well, wait a second here. That makes sense. Because, again, I wasn't even thinking that far into the whole process. I'm just thinking the dog goes to the bathroom. What, does the host pay? Does the host pick up? Does the guest? It's an interesting concept. Because, you go over to someone's house. They have a house party. Summer's coming around here. And they host it, they have the food, they clean it up, and everything else. You just go on your merry way. So this actually provides a lot more help for you because you host it. You don't have to really clean up after it. That's kind of nice too.
Yeah, and that's part of it is that we don't want hosts to feel like they actually have extra work to do. We want hosts to just be able to help dogs and share their yard and be totally protected and safe and just literally have money deposited in their bank account. And that's how it works. So it's a pretty beautiful thing for someone that's got land or got a yard.
That is brilliant. So we're going to take that little pen and go back to it. Now, you had said people are making up to $1,000 a month by hosting. Now, is that just having them there on weekends, 7 days a week? How does that work?
Yeah, so, how it works is as a host, you have complete control. So hosts can set their own price, they can set their own hours, and they have complete control over what hours are actually available. So some hosts are only available for a few hours a week. Other hosts are available all the time. So it really depends on how you want to do it. And we have hosts that are popular on either end of the spectrum. But like I said, most of our hosts are doing it because they love dogs and they want to help dogs. But it's also a great way to make money. And like I said, we have hosts making more than $1,000 a month, which, that's like the amount that's deposited in their bank account, $12,000 a year. Think of what you could do with $12,000 extra dollars a year. I mean, that is a really nice vacation. Or it could even be a new car. Or it could be saving up for that renovation you want to do on your house. So there's all kinds of amazing things that you can actually do. Like, if you just imagine what you could do with that kind of money, it's a beautiful thing.
Now, another question I was wondering is, do you have specific little brass signs that would say SNIFFSPOT location or anything like that? Or is it just by the app showing a GPS location?
We definitely have signage that we give to our hosts. And yeah, it's great if people can see the signage and learn about SNIFFSPOT that way. We do require that every guest book through our app. So the guest needs to actually go on our app and book and pay before they use a yard. So you can't just see a yard and go in and have fun there. You got to book it first because then we're able to handle scheduling, like what if another dog is in there that doesn't want, to meet another dog, or what if the yard's not available right now. So we require everything to be booked through the app.
Which makes sense. And then if anything is damaged, the host obviously is not going to have as many problems. At least they're covered. So it's a CYA, folks.
Exactly.
So you had mentioned abroad, and I was just thinking, okay, so I'm always interested in this. Now, you had different hosts abroad. Now, are we talking Canada, or are we talking overseas?
Well, so Canada, unsurprisingly, is our second largest country. But we also have SNIFFSPOTs scattered around the rest of the world. So we've got SNIFFSPOTs in New Zealand, SNIFFSPOTs in South Africa, SNIFFSPOTs in Europe. And there's no limitation on where SNIFFSPOTs can sign up. So if people are listening in Australia or New Zealand, definitely we've got a lot of demand there and we need more SNIFFSPOTs. Same thing in Canada. Same thing in other parts of the world.
You almost knew exactly where I was going with that. I was going
everywhere people are, SNIFFSPOT's got to be.
Definitely a good idea. Now, out of the top of your head, here's going to be the curveball question of the day. Since, we are heard a lot around the world, which I always still, and I know you probably have the same thing. You're shocked that you made anything that's even touched around the world because you're thinking how small you are compared to the world. But when it comes to places in the U.S., because, of course, that's probably our biggest market or where we're listened to. When we look at this, is there certain spots in the U.S. that are really dying to need hosts more than others?
Yeah, so this is what I would say. We want hosts all over the country. So it's not like just big cities or small towns or out in rural areas. We've seen Sniff spots be popular all over the place. So we're looking for Sniff spots everywhere. Our biggest market is Seattle, unsurprisingly, because that's where we started. We're also really popular down the West Coast. Seeing a lot of people using us on the East Coast too. Washington D.C. up through New York. One market that's really exploding recently is Nashville, and we want to see more in the South. So Texas is pretty good, but I'd love to see more in Florida and other places like that. And then absolutely through the Midwest. So Chicago is one of our largest markets, and I think there's a lot of room to grow in all these markets.
It's good to know. So everybody, if you have a nice yard, there's a real incentive to have a good yard. You can actually rent it out for this exact reason. And boy, if I actually had a fenced-in backyard, I would be a host. Hands down, even without this conversation, I would be like, oh man, that's just amazing. My backyard doesn't have a fence, and I'm thinking, at some point, I know what you're going to say. Well, by being a host, you'll have all that money to build a fence. I'm going to jump ahead of you for that one.
Love it. Yep, absolutely.
So, I always like to know what gets somebody on a soapbox. That one thing that just puts you on that soapbox that you just feel like preaching, hey, this is exactly why X, Y, Z. And I always want to know what has somebody on the soapbox at this moment. And it could be about dog parks. It could be about anything. I just always love to know what somebody's, at that moment kind of passionate about.
Yep, absolutely. So, I'm passionate about a lot of things around dogs and making dogs happy. Something that I think a lot of people don't realize, though, is that sniffing is actually really important for a dog's health. So, for a dog, sniffing, and this is not me saying this is from certified trainers. Sniffing is 3 times more important than physical exercise. So if you're taking your dog out on a walk and they're not able to sniff, then you're missing out on something that could be 3 times more beneficial. So this is something I love about SNIFFSPOT is that for a dog, sniffing is like reading a newspaper, where they're learning new things and they're enriching their brains. So taking a dog on the same walk around the block is, it's like reading the same newspaper every day. It's not really going to expand your mind after a while. So we love the idea of SNIFFSPOT, where you can take your dog to different areas and let them sniff off leash, which is great because they can follow their nose and go where they want to go. And you can try a lot of different areas. So it actually fits into our name, SNIFFSPOT.
Which is brilliant. And again, something that I do talk a lot about, which is we have to exercise our dogs, not just physically, but mentally. Here's another perfect example of that put into principle movement, and I love that. That is awesome. Is there anything that we did not cover?
Well, I think the one thing that I want to emphasize is that we need more hosts across the country. So if anyone listening to this that has a yard or has land or knows someone with a yard or land or someone that has an indoor space, someone who's a trainer, has a facility, this is a great way to help dogs, to connect with more dogs. And also it's a great way to make side income. So it would be a huge help. You'd be helping dogs. You'd be helping SNIFFSPOT fulfill its mission by listing your place. And you can do it by going to www.sniffspot.com. That's SNIFFSPOT.com. You can check out our host page, learn more about it, and get started there. Or feel free to send me an email. You can email me at support@sniffspot.com.
You're a pro, man. I literally, all I have to do is sit here. It's awesome. That's kind of what makes my job so nice. Well, love it. I really appreciate you being on the podcast. Come back anytime. Let me know if there's anything we can do for you, because we are here to support you. And I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.